How's it going, everyone? My name is Michael Leskinen, and welcome back to Steins Gate Zero. In the last episode, things got really wild, as Mayuri was taken at gunpoint, held hostage in front of Suzuha by like 25 or something like that armed men, ready to kill, and definitely knew what they were doing. Well, until Kagari came to, kill half of them because they hurt her mom, I guess. So I guess beast mode at that point. But anyways, apparently the phone lines are down, or phone service I should say. Phone carriers are not working at all. So things are just getting really, really strange. And I guess Okabe is now running over to the over to the radio building. So of course he's out of breath. But man, listen to him run.
まだ時間はある。何も心配ない。鈴は無事だし、マユリだってそのうちひょっこりラボに戻ってくる。
At least he's trying to be optimistic. When I reached the radio building, I realized that many people in the crowd of pedestrians were holding their phones up to the sky. There was evidently no service near the station either. I took a moment to catch my breath as I looked up at the radio building. I could hear what sounded like a distant explosion. It wasn't just one. The explosions were coming in a series. Several of the people around me were glancing at their surroundings, confused by these unfamiliar sounds. And then I realized that was gunfire. I remember the sounds I'd heard during the battle between CERN's Rounders and the Russian military. The sounds were coming from the roof of the radio building. Had I not made it in time? Yikes. I ran into the radio building. For some reason, the elevator was under maintenance and turned off. Lovely. I had no choice but to take the stairs. My heart was pounding so fast that I thought it would burst, and I tripped several times due to how tense I was. I stumbled again and again on the stairs. How many times had I come up these stairs feeling like this? Cursing my lack of endurance, I headed for the top floor. When I got to the 7th floor, I ran into someone I'd hoped I wouldn't see. No. My guess that I'd run into them was right. I wish that I wasn't, but... Oh, man. Well, I mean, in the last episode they were talking about a professor, so this kind of clears it up. He's definitely an antagonist.
Yeah, Rintaro. Masaka konna ni hayaku kimi ga kuru to wa omowanakatta yo.
Dr. Leskinen seemed perturbed when he saw my face.
どうしてここに
少し落ち着きなさい。そんなに息が切れていたのでは話もできないよ。
どうしてここにいるんです。アマデウスはどうなったんです。
君に頼んだサンプリングテストは半年前に終わっている。話すことはできないな。
That was his answer. Even though Amadeus had disappeared, Leskinen was extremely calm. There was no sign of him trying to deal with the problem, and instead of being in his office, he was here. That was all I needed to know.
クリスが俺に送ってきたメッセージの内容は本当だったんですね。
The father that she'd spoken of was Leskinen, after all.
クリスや魔法どうしたんです。彼女たちの記憶データを解析してタイムマシンに関するデータを取り出すつもりなんでしょう。
驚いたな。クリスはそこまで君に話してしまったのか。監視していたつもりだったが、いつの間にそんな真似を。
Leskinen seemed truly shocked, which meant he hadn't noticed that Kirisu was an at-channeler, or that she'd spoken to me there. Oh no. And then, Leskinen took out a gun and pointed it at me.
君は少し踏み込みすぎたようだ。
It would seem so, Dr. Leskinen. Or should I say, Dr. Leskinen? Yeah, it's still Dr. Leskinen. I don't know what the hell I'm trying to do here.
あなたは何者なんだ?
You know what? I'll join in on that. Who are you?
科学者だよ。
Alright.
だが、科学者も実践授業ではないのでね。君はストラテジックフォーカス社というアメリカの民間情報機関を知っているかな？
ストラテジックフォーカス社。アメリカの
Stratfor.
ストラトフォーカ。
Yep. I'd read about them on a conspiracy theory website. I remembered reading that. Excuse me. I remember reading that they'd acquired top secret information on Russian ballistic missiles that even the CIA couldn't get, and then sold it. The result was the destruction of the CIA's reputation. We got to deal with Stratfor a little bit on the other half of the game, what we went through the first time, the first 3 routes, I think. And at the same time, the total reorganization of Russia's military strategy. I even heard rumors that during the Gulf and Iraq wars, they'd obtained information about the warring countries faster than anyone, and spread it as needed.
世界から影の CIA などと呼ばれているのが私たちだよ。
So was he going to use Amadeus for military purposes? Was everything he'd said at the seminar just platitudes and lies?
まあ、私のことはどうでもいいだろう。それよりリンタロウ、勝美から聞いたのだが、君も例の新型脳炎を発症しているそうだね。
Damn, she really doesn't know how to keep her mouth shut.
それどころか、新型脳炎そのもののメカニズムについて何か知っているらしいじゃないか。実に興味深い。君の持つその情報をぜひ提供してくれないか。
No, I think if we offered it to you, we'd just end up in the bad route.
何?
And that's how it ended before.
施術を受けてくれるだけでいいんだ。
I don't think it's simple.
そうすれば、私は君を助手として迎え入れてもいい。
For some reason, my whole body broke out in goosebumps at the word procedure. The Dr. Leskinen I knew, the man with the childlike, mischievous heart and deep scientific curiosity, his big white hands, big white body, and big scary face, but also lovable face. The man who'd been so kind to me, the man I'd respected, the man I loved, was gone. In his place was the cruel scientific fundamentalist who thought nothing of human lives or hearts as he pointed a gun at me. Or was this who he truly was? Suddenly, he seemed like a terrifying unknown.
どうかな?
He took a step towards me. And then... another fierce gunfight broke out above. Leskinen clicked his tongue at the sound. He glanced towards the stairs.
なぜ銃撃戦になっているんだ。穏便に済ませろとあれほど。
I took advantage of the distraction. Luckily, I was still on the staircase. I tackled his legs as hard as I could, and he lost his balance and fell. The noise you make whenever you fall. Ooh. He hit his head hard on one of those steps, and after a moment's jerk, stopped moving at all. He might be dead. But I didn't care anymore. Wow! Alright, Okabe. I'd become a murderer many times over already. When I opened the door, what I saw was a vision from the heart of hell itself. There was blood everywhere and bodies too.
なんだこれ
In the middle of the sea of blood was a girl in a motorcycle suit and helmet, covered in crimson as she lay on the ground. She held a giant cleaver. I could see instantly that she was responsible for this disaster. Her shoulders moved up and down a little, so evidently she was still alive. I approached the woman, trying my best not to throw up from the stench.
大丈夫。ママ。
I could hear her voice from beneath the cracked, broken helmet. I looked closer and saw that some of the blood was her own. Her body was racked by bullet wounds and her left hand was completely gone. It was a miracle that she had somehow survived all of that. She was shot a lot. She really was. From the descriptions that we were getting in the last episode, she got fucked in the ass, and she was still fine. She didn't seem to notice me as she slowly crawled through the blood. I followed her gaze and saw Mayuri huddled beneath the time machine. I could see the little blood of where she kind of got that wound, the bullet that almost hit her right in the face. Suzuha seemed to be unhurt, but there was blood on Mayuri's face.
Mayuri!
I hadn't expected to see her here, and I was worried about her wound, but more than anything I was glad she was safe. She raised her face when she heard my voice. But the next moment, her eyes locked on the girl in the motorcycle suit. She saw the thing crawling toward her and screamed.
ママ。違うの。これは、だって、かがりは、本当は人殺しなんてするつもりじゃなくって、ただ、ママを守ろうとして。
Yeah, I didn't want to kill anyone, but I had to protect you. Kagari? Did she say Kagari? It was only then that I realized that the girl in the motorcycle suit was the Kagari Shina that Suzuha had been looking for.
ごめんなさい、ママ。かがり、もういい。
Suzuha yelled, unable to take any more.
もういいから動くな。死ぬぞお前。かがりはね、ママに怖い思いをさせようなんて思ってなかったんだよ。本当だよ。かがりはただママを助けなくちゃって。だからママお願い、かがりを嫌いにならないでお願い。ママごめんなさい、許して。
At last her strength failed, and she collapsed. I returned to my senses and ran to her before Suzuha could get there.
おい、大丈夫か?
Her breathing was wheezy and shallow. One of the bullets had probably pierced her lungs. I thought taking off her helmet would help her breathe, so I put my hand on it to remove it, but she grabbed my hand and pushed it away.
やめて。取らないで。ママと鈴葉お姉ちゃんの前では。お願い。岡部さん。
Her voice, and the way she talked. I realized who this girl called Kagari Shina was. I looked close and saw I recognized her face.
そんな。君はなぜ
Wait, what? Huh?
オカリンおじさん、かがりは？
来るな
I quickly motioned to Suzuha to keep her distance.
こっちは任せろ。お前はマユリを頼む。マユリの傷は大丈夫なのか確認してくれ。
She looked upset, but did as I asked. She went back to Mayuri and started to look at her wounds. Mayuri was covering her face and trying not to look at the bodies.
大丈夫。マユ姉さんの傷は深くない。
I relaxed a little when I heard that.
よかった。ママ、無事だったんだ。よかった。
Kagari's voice was a whisper as I cradled her in my arms. And then she slowly closed her eyes. Her breathing got weaker.
しっかりしろ。君はなんで。
大丈夫。心配しないで。私、こうなっても痛くも苦しくもないから。いつも神様の声が聞こえるの。君は痛くならないよ、苦しくならないよって。だから全然。
Oh, that was lovely.
岡部さんには伝えておくね。本物は何も知らないです。
Hmm?
3年前からヨーロッパに留学中だから、教授が私を秋葉原へ送り込むために裏で手を回して、本物は本当に何も知らない。
教授だって。
Did she mean?
この世界線では本当は来年なんですよ。芦田さんと本物が出会うのは。
Oh. Wait, huh? Wait. What? Hold on. I'm lost. So, is this who I think it is? But, what? I don't even want to say anything because I feel like I just sound like a dumb fool. A damn idiot. I don't know. Kagari opened her eyes a little once more and looked toward the time machine, toward Mayuri and Suzuha.
大丈夫。きっと本物も芦田さんのこと好きになります。
So this is Yuki. But with Kagari's memories? No, wait, huh? No. It was never Yuki in the first place. It was Kagari. I guess? Is that okay? That's my theory, but I didn't want to say it because it really sounds dumb. So I'm so lost, guys. It's like 1 in the morning, and I feel awake, but I also feel so damn stupid.
私と同じように言っちゃった。誰にも内緒ですよ。
See ya, I guess. And this time her smile still shining in her eyes. They closed for real. With one final shudder, the strength left her body. Her life faded away in my hands. There was so much I wanted to ask her. Why had she appeared before us using that name? There were so many things I didn't understand. But Kagari Shiena's life ended in that moment.
おかりおじさん、Kagariは無事?
I came back to my senses when I heard her voice. If I told her about Kagari's death, it would cause her a lot of mental stress. That wasn't a good idea. Right now I needed to do something about the time machine as fast as possible.
大丈夫だ。この子を俺が病院へ連れて行く。
I slung Kagari's bloody body around my shoulder and stood up.
鈴葉、急いでタイムマシンを停止させて偽装しろ。もうじき警察がここへ。
もう遅いよ。
Well, I guess we should have thought that Leskinen was coming. Before I could open the door, a huge shadow appeared from within. He wasn't dead? But he must have taken a lot of damage to the head because his face was the color of clay. One of his eyes wasn't focusing.
すぐにここは戦場になる。アメリカもロシアも日本も動き出してしまった。一度回り出した歯車はもう止められない。カガリがもっと早く我々に報告していれば、ここまで事態は悪化することもなかったものを。
Leskinen knew about Kagari? Which meant that I was right. But Suzuha spoke before I could.
そうか。お前が教授か。カガリを洗脳したのはお前だな。
そうなんですか。あなたはそういう人だったんですか。
別にこの私が何かしたわけじゃない。
Leskinen didn't try to deny it.
むしろ10年ほど前、路頭に迷っていた彼女を助けてここまで育つよう援助してあげたんだよ。
援助って、普通に生活してたら彼女がこんな風になるはずないじゃないか。
そんなに怒鳴らないでくれないか。頭が割れそうにいたもんだ。
Yeah, I believe it.
嘘じゃない。彼女は自分の方から私に接触してきた。整形までしてこの町に潜り込んだのも彼女のプランだよ。何でも頭の中の神様が全て教えてくれるんだそうだ。最初私はホームレスの子供が食べ物欲しさにくだらない作り話をしているんだと思ったんだよね。彼女の脳や記憶を調べてみると非常に興味深く素晴らしいことが分かった。その神様というのはね。
And even as his face twisted in pain, he smiled proudly.
その神様というのはなんと未来の2036年の私だったんだよ。
Yeah, I kind of assumed that even back when we first learned about all of it. I didn't want to throw out the prediction or assumption, like, because we didn't know if Leskinen was going to be a bad guy at that point. Highly likely, I just didn't want to throw that out there yet. And I also didn't know how Dr. Leskinen would connect with all that. But now it sort of makes sense, kinda.
あんたは本当のマッドサイエンティストだ。
Uh-oh. Suddenly I heard a siren down below. Just hearing the sound made me feel uneasy. I'd never heard a sound like it before.
なんだこれ。
ゲリラ攻撃情報、ゲリラ攻撃情報。当地域にゲリラ攻撃の可能性があります。屋内に避難し、テレビ、ラジオをつけてください。
I heard that announcement coming from the speakers on the street. A guerrilla attack? Uh-oh. I could hear several helicopters in the sky above me. Their engines were clearly more powerful than the ones in the media's news choppers. I recognized the sounds from the time I'd spent in the wartime world line.
言っただろう。ここは間もなくタイムマシンを奪い合う戦場と化すんだ。
第三次世界大戦が始まるのか。
まさかこの町の住民も自分たちの都市の中心から世界戦争が始まるとは夢にも思っていないだろうね。
And then Leskinen leaned up against a wall, sat down, and stopped moving. Whether he'd passed out or gone into a coma from the brain damage, I didn't have time to find out. It was like the air in the city had gotten heavier. That's how it felt. A chill ran down my spine. I'd spent a month at war in that world line, and the same future was about to begin here. Something like that couldn't happen in Japan. It was like a TV show or a movie. But I knew instinctively that this wasn't fiction. There had been signs since 6 months ago. Here in Akihabara, in Tokyo, in Japan, spies and soldiers from all around the world had been working in the shadows. So I'd known this would happen. By refusing Suzuha's request, and choosing the world line where Mayuri survived, I doomed over 5 billion people. I was the one who chose this. It was me. I looked and saw that Suzuha was pushing Mayuri into the time machine.
こうなったら私たちはこのまま過去へジャンプする。かがりのこと頼んだよ。
Suzuha had no idea that Kagari was already dead. She leaped into the cockpit. I raced over and grabbed onto the hatch, then looked inside.
過去ってまさか1年前あの日へ行くのか、こんな急に。
急ってわけじゃないんだ。それにあの日へは飛ばない。
She was tapping commands into the console as she spoke.
何？あの日へは飛ばないってどういう？
ちょっとまゆ姉さんを借りるよ。
Mayuri was already strapped into a seat, just like I was when I jumped over a year ago with Suzuha.
マユリ、お前。
おかり。
I'd heard fierce gunfire and screams in the distance. It looked like some of the spies had started fighting each other. Kagari may have just wiped out a force from one nation, but an army from an entirely different one was still coming. Mayuri handed me a smartphone. I took it without thinking.
繋がらないからこれ預けるね。メール読んで。マユシーの気持ちだから。
ちょっと待て！なんでお前が行くんだ！お前が行ったって結果は同じだ。何もできない。それに今飛んだら戻ってこられない。違うの。
オカリンじゃダメなの。これはね、マユシーの役目だから。
わからない。俺にはさっぱりわからない。頼む、降りてくれマユリ。お前まで因果の輪から外れたら俺は何のためにこの世界線を選んだのか。
オカリン。
Mayuri gently rubbed my cheek, and she smiled sadly. She softly pushed my shoulder. Bye, I guess. It threw me off balance and made me let go of the hatch. Then the hatch closed.
Mayuri, mate!
It was too late. By the time I grabbed it back on, the hatch was sealed shut. The door control were biometric. Only Suzuha could open it now. The time machine started to roar. A pale light began to gather around it. I'd seen this before in the Alpha World line.
Mayuri.
Uh-oh. Just then a group of armed men kicked open the door and swarmed onto the roof. They were highly trained military operatives. Oh god. and then an attack helicopter descended from the skies. Oh no. The soldiers started to shoot at it, but the helicopter seemed to ignore them as it slowly hovered in place. I realized the powerful rocket launchers on either side of its body were aimed at me. No, at the time machine. It couldn't be.
やめろ
But my worst fears were realized. Oh no. The helicopter fired its rockets. They headed straight for the time machine. It was still there, shrouded in light. Okay. The second I yelled, a powerful blast blew me back. And then we died. The end. The next thing I knew, I was crawling on the ground. I saw that some of the soldiers had already joined the mountain of corpses on the ground, and some of them were still shooting at the helicopter. I stood up as fast as I could. My whole body felt like it was on fire. My skin was burnt in places. My clothes had been blasted off. No, my own problems didn't matter. What about the time machine? I looked up toward where the time machine had been. If it had jumped in time, it should have been able to avoid the rockets. But... oh no. Dude. There were scraps of metal everywhere. I could tell they belonged to the time machine. Had I not made it in time? I don't think there was anything Okabe could have done.
Mayuri?
I looked around in the cloud of smoke.
No. Mayuri? どこだ? Mayuri! 鈴葉! 返事をしてくれ!
There were bodies everywhere, but I couldn't see Mayuri or Suzuha. I couldn't even tell if they were alive or dead. There were no bodies. They'd simply vanished. After that, things went far beyond my power to control. Brutal battles took place on the ground and in the sky of Akihabara. I'd seen footage of war in the Middle East on the news. Those same scenes were playing out in Akihabara. I managed to slip through the chaos of the battle and barely escaped the radio building with my life. I had no choice but to leave Kagari's body. I took the long way back to the lab so that no one would find me. By the time I arrived, the sun had set, and the night sky was illuminated with explosions and tracer rounds. The whole of Akihabara was like someone had poked a beehive. God damn, dude. Oh my god, things are insane! Oh man, I have no idea if Suzuha and Mayuri are alive. There's a war that started. Dr. Leskinen is a bad guy still, and he's probably dead. Maybe, hopefully. Fuck that guy. The lights were out at the lab, but inside I found Daru, Maho, and Fed staring at the TV and computer monitor,
Okarin!
岡部さん、よく無事で。ってひどい怪我してる。大丈夫なの？
戦闘に巻き込まれたん？
急いで手当てしないと。
I didn't have the energy to answer them. I looked toward the footage on the TV screen. The reporter was wearing a bulletproof vest and hard hat. He was screaming at the top of his lungs, trying to drown out the reporters from the other stations.
まるで戦争です。秋葉原駅前や中央通りはすでに閉鎖されて、米軍と自衛隊のヘリや装甲車が。今またものすごい発砲音が聞こえました。ここは本当に日本なのでしょうか。まるで内戦中の国の取材をしているようです。政府の発表ではテロということですが、こんな。
And then a stray shot from an anti-material rifle, fired by a special forces team from some country or another, struck the news van's engine and blew it up.
爆発した。爆発が起きました。死にたいのか。今すぐ逃げろ。もう戦争なんだ。本当に死ぬぞ。
But news is news! An SDF soldier forced his way onto the screen and yelled at the media to run away.
戦争ってどことですか。知るか。
And then they died. Alright.